Cosplay on a Budget. I'm your host, Ms. Cosplay, and today is going to be the first of the tutorials that are in my Halloween series, and all of these tutorials are going to be for Undertale themed cosplays for my niece, nephew, and myself. So I'm going to be filming all of these intros and outros and everything like that all at the same time, so if you see this makeup look that was heavily inspired by My Chemical Romance a lot in these videos, that is why. So to begin, we are going to start off with the tutorial for the Sans mask for my little niece. Now, this tutorial was inspired by Attackgoose on DeviantArt. I'll leave a link to their tutorial for Sans mask in the description. I went by the guidelines of their tutorial, but I did change some stuff construction-wise. I also didn't use the method where you cover the mask in wood filler and everything like that to then kind of sand it down and smooth it or whatever, just because this was going to be for my niece and I didn't really think it was a good idea for her to be breathing that stuff. So I just went with the paper mache method and everything like that. But this is the mask, and I think it came out really cool. So there's a little flap to hide her hair, and actually you can kind of see the little eye right there. But the cool part is that his eye lights up. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This mask shows you how to actually install a book light so you can have Sans' eye light. Let's get on to the tutorial. Okay, so you're going to want to mark down where you need to cut on your treat pails. So on the first one, you need to mark down from the top of the pail about 1.5 inches. And then on the second one, you want to mark down about 2 inches from the top. And then we're just going to take our box cutter and just cut along these lines. Now if you're younger, please do have an adult help you with this part. Okay, so how I put these two together was I cut a small slit on both of the side seams of the pumpkin that I only cut 1.5 inches off of. And then I kind of wedged it into the other one at a bit of an angle so that it kind of gave the shape of Sans' head, how his head kind of goes down and then out. So next what I'm going to do is mark out the bottom and sides of the face and cut out what I don't need. It'll pretty much end where the top pail is, and this will differ on yours depending on your head size, but this is so it's easier to get on and off, and I went ahead and glued the pieces together as well. And this is what it should look like once you have it all cut out. Next I'm going to trim up the inside so it fits more comfortably, and I'll probably put some tape down over it just to hold it in place and pat it a bit more. And then we can add tape over the face and draw on a new one. Okay, so I added the tape and drew on the eyes and the nose. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. And I won't be cutting out the mouth part, so I didn't bother drawing that on. I'll be building that up with foam board, as well as around the eyes and the nose. Okay, so I cut out the eyes and nose, and I've already started building up the parts with the strips of foam board. So I'm just going to keep doing that around the eyes, the nose, and then build up all the mouth. Okay, so I finished all the foam board and also added the teeth. Added a little bit to the cheeks just to build those up a little bit more to make it look more like his face. And I also added a little bit to the top just to kind of round it out a bit more. So next is the paper mache step, and I'm going to go cut little strips of newspaper. Then I'm just going to start gluing them on, making sure to wrap them inside the eyes and the nose. So I'm going to do 2 layers of paper mache and then probably do 2 layers of glue just to smooth it a bit more. since I'm not going to be doing the wood filler method. Okay, so now that I have the 2 layers of paper mache and the 2 layers of glue, I'm going to start painting it, and I'm probably going to be using a sponge, like a cosmetic sponge, and using this folk art multi-surface paint. I really like this stuff because it's thicker and more opaque than just like acrylic paint, and it seems to adhere a lot better to like glue and smooth surfaces, probably because it's multi-surface and can stick to stuff like that. But after a few coats of this, I will probably finish it off with a few coats of normal acrylic paint just to kind of make it a bit more opaque. So while the mask is drying, I'm going to start on the light. So I cut 2 squares of blue fabric, and this will be wrapped around the end of the light to not only diffuse it so it's not just a bright beam, but also give it the signature blue color that Sans has. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those down and then wrap them around the light, and yeah, then we'll move on from there. So now that I have it glued down and it's nice and blue, I'm going to take a Sharpie or just some black paint or something and add the pupil to it. So going back to the mask, now that it's all painted, I shaded in the black and blue parts with pastels, but later on you'll see that I changed my mind and used black and blue paint instead, and then sealed it. I highly recommend sealing it before you do the next step, or you'll have to shield the light and the eyes with tape. So this is where I changed it to paint. I think it makes it look better, and it makes it look a lot cartoonier, I guess, and it makes it pop more. For the blue, I just dry brushed it on and then went over it with my matte Mod Podge sealer. I also glued the light itself to part of the eyes, and the eyes and nose are just covered in this black fabric that's see-through enough to see out of, but it's actually really opaque to see into, so nobody will see her eyes, but she'll be able to see perfectly fine out of it. I had to break the bottom clip part of the black light just to make it fit better because it was sticking up a little high, but then I also made it at an angle, so I had to wedge a bit of foam board in there just to kind of make it flatter, but she can still get to the batteries and everything like that to change them, as well as the on-off switch. I also glued on this flap of white fabric just around the edge right there, and this is just to hide her hair when she has it on. And with that, the Sans mask is done. And there you have it. After a few steps, you have your very own Sans mask with an eye light. So if you guys like this tutorial, then go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more videos, and ring that bell for notifications. I'm going to be having more tutorials for not only Sans cosplay, but Papyrus cosplay, and a Grill Bee cosplay. Like what I do here, and would like to support this channel, then head on over to my Ko-fi. Every donation goes to more cosplay supplies so that I can continue to bring you guys more videos. In my next video. Bye!